So, what do I say about this? It's a movie that everyone has reviewed, and now it's my turn to review it. What can I contribute to it? Boo! Batman and Robin! Blah, blah. Well, that doesn't stop me from setting up my display. And that's why I put George Clooney in the front. I have to talk about Batman and Robin. I've talked about Batman, I've talked about Batman Returns, and I talked about Batman Forever. I even talked about the 1966 Batman the movie. So, I guess I really should tackle Batman and Robin. I mean, after all, we just got that Flash movie with Michael Keaton reprising the role of Batman.
You want to get nuts?
Nuts!
And we also got, I'm going to spoil the movie for you. Sorry you didn't get to see the Predator film in theaters.
Allegedly.
George Clooney shows up at the end. I should start with my glass here, with my juice, that the last time I drank from this was when I reviewed Batman Mask of the Phantasm. We miss you, Kevin Conroy. And now, I have to say this about Harley Quinn. We miss you, Arlene Sorkin. So I got my juice. And no, it doesn't have vodka in it, not one bit. But I am going to add some of this because I really need to do this throughout the night. And we're going to talk about the dynamic duel. Except for, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to find the good stuff about this film.
And where have you put all these things?
Just press the OnStar button, sir.
Well done, Alfred.
My pleasure, sir.
Hi, I'm Anthonix Maximus, bitching to you about movies because Batman and Robin, more like Batman and Throbbin'. Ho-ho! Those are the jokes. Yeah, I might as well just go ahead and finish off the Batman anthology. But considering that Michael Gough and Pat Hingle are the only ones to reprise their roles in all 4 films, I'm just gonna call this the Alfred Pennyworth and Jim Gordon anthology. Out of the 4 films, this does not have any Tim Burton involvement. It's pure Joel Schumacher, baby. Nipples and all. Writer Akiva Goldsman and Joel Schumacher actually came up with this storyline during filming of A Time to Kill. However, the problem with this film, and I addressed this before, they were told by Warner Brothers to make the film toyetic. What does that mean? They had to make the film be colorful and appealing to children so they can sell the toys. Which, as we know, doesn't work on kids. It only works on grown-ass man-children like myself. Val Kilmer and Schumacher did not get along very well during the filming of Batman Forever, so Schumacher actually had his eyes on William Baldwin, Billy Baldwin, whatever. But the role of Batman went to George Clooney because his performance in From Dusk to Dawn. I'll get into the other actors and characters as we go along. There's not really too much more to say about it because, well, the success of Batman Forever, Warner Brothers wanted a sequel rushed. Because the success of the last movie, Warner Brothers really wanted to rush on the sequel. So that's why instead of waiting 3 years like the previous films, they waited 2 years. So in 1997, we were graced with Batman and Robin. Let's talk about the opening credits. There's Warner Brothers. Oh no, it got frozen! How are we gonna watch the rest of the movie? Oh, that's not so bad, it just broke away. And it became a red sky! Probably leading us to the Red Sky episodes. Look, I'm just reaching for some kind of explanation. Batman the Animated Series, the original run, had been over for some time. Now let's take a look at our cast. Just like Superman the movie and the first Batman movie, the hero gets screwed on the top billing. But George Clooney was in ER. Who cares? Put Arnold Schwarzenegger first. George Clooney, being the classic prankster on set, actually did show up to the set of ER wearing his suit. His bat suit. By the way, I am filming in the middle of the night, so you might hear some crickets, you might hear the helicopter. I'm doing my best to block those sons of bitches out. Hey, it's Chris O'Donnell! We didn't have to look for a new Robin. He stuck around. I guess that Three Musketeers sequel fell through. And there's Uma Thurman, the ditzy chick from Pulp Fiction. And Alicia Silverstone. Ooh, and Robin got his own symbol. What, the R wasn't good enough for you? Now you're gonna watch them get dressed. You sicko. Nipples and butts. And while we're at it, throw in a little crotch.
I want a car.
No, you don't get a car. Though, to be fair, it is a one-seat Batmobile.
Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
Oh my gosh, this is pre-Marvel superhero name dropping. So I guess that means I have to display Superman because he was mentioned. Up and away, Superman. And yes, I like to think that these movies exist in the same world as the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Had this Nicolas Cage Superman movie been made, I would have thought differently. Again, I guess he was too good for the R. But we can see this as an early evolution of what he would become, which is Nightwing. So, alright. This is how criminals escape. You guys take too long with your vehicles.
Don't wait up, Al.
I'll cancel the pizzas.
No! They were missing out on pizza! And Alfred, why aren't you cooking them their dinner? You lazy bastard! I hope something happens to you! Ooh.
Batman, a new villain has commandeered the Gotham Museum.
Who needs the bat signal? How does Batman hear what Commissioner Gordon has to say? There's no roof. It must sound like this. Oh no, it's a neon disco Power Ranger villain.
I'm afraid that my condition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy.
Just kidding. It's Mr. Freeze. Imagine my disappointment when I noticed he didn't really have a big dome over his head. He had a little one around his forehead, but that's it. It's like the 60s Batman where they didn't even have a dome at all. It was just a collar.
How did you find the entrance to the ice lattice?
Oh, darling, stop spitting ice cubes.
So let me just talk about Mr. Freeze. Considered for the role of Mr. Freeze was Ed Harris and Anthony Hopkins. Some say it's Patrick Stewart, but Patrick Stewart has actually later denied this. But ultimately, Schumacher wanted his Mr. Freeze to be chiseled like he was made out of glacier. Had nothing to do with the fact that Schumacher wanted some muscled eye candy. He got Arnold Schwarzenegger. And look at that makeup. Took 6 hours to apply all that. And that LED light actually broke in his mouth, and some of the battery acid started to leak. If you want to know the history of Batman and the history of Robin, watch the other movie reviews. I've gone over it. But I'll tell you about Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze debuted in Batman 121. That was in February 1959. Now, in his first comic, he didn't have a sympathetic backstory. In fact, before he became a villain, Victor Freeze, even though it's spelled as Victor Fries, Dr. Victor Freeze actually was already a bad guy. He already had gangsters. A lab accident actually made it to the point where he can only survive in extreme cold. And in the early comics, he wasn't called Mr. Freeze. He was called Mr. Zero. Not sure why he became a Mr. after becoming a villain. I mean, he's a doctor. Yeah, you could say that after he became a villain, his medical license got revoked. Otto Octavius gets to be called Dr. Octopus. Hugo Strange gets to be called Dr. Hugo Strange. I mean, it's also like Mr. Sinister. He was a doctor, but now he's a Mr. I'm just saying, if you're already doing crime, what's stopping you from calling yourself doctor? But anyways, Mr. Zero did not become Mr. Freeze until the 1966 Batman series.
Strange scene ensues inside Mr. Freeze's super air-conditioned mountain hideout.
In that series, they renamed him Mr. Freeze, and it stuck.
In this universe, there's only one absolute. Everything freezes.
So Mr. Freeze is trying to capture diamonds for his nefarious plans. Now, this is a positive I will throw in. We don't get Batman crashing through sunroofs anymore. A lot of his appearances in the newer films are not so dynamic. I mean, yeah, it's kind of messed up that he's just causing more property damage, but it looks cool.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones.
Batman had the ice gun in his hands. That should have ended Mr. Freeze. But no, Batman don't like guns. Unless, of course, the guns are attached to his vehicles. Well, Robin gets to make his own emblem through the wall. Somebody saw Gremlins 2.
Better get away! Down! Down!
Nice catch.
You break it, you buy it.
That's a funny line, Batman. Batman the jokester. Again, you guys have no problem breaking the windows and the walls, but please save the vase. And call me a silly softy at heart, but I like when bad guys have their own special henchmen. Yeah, it's campy. It's just what I like. And that's what Schumacher goes for. He loves the 1960s Batman camp. Sad thing is, in theory, Arnold Schwarzenegger could have been a really good Mr. Freeze. And I genuinely mean that. I believe had he actually approached the character the same way he approached the Terminator, with the same mannerisms and everything, he would have been an excellent Mr. Freeze. Oh, yeah, you hear the clunking sound? Yeah. There's gonna be some Hanna-Barbera sound effects, so that Flintstones joke wasn't really uncalled for. Okay, how can I critique this differently than everyone else has said about it? Oh, they just happen to have skates in their... Maybe they're not skates, maybe they're just blades. Maybe Batman and Robin were gonna cut a bitch or two in a fight, but they just happened to work out as ice skates.
You get the ice, I'll get the Iceman.
Yeah, the same way you got the Ice Princess in Batman Returns.
Lawn dart!
But anyways, I'm talking too much. Let's watch Batman and Robin take on those Casey Joneses. No, not the spark-causing display.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Well, yeah, the Ice Age did kill the dinosaurs. I mean, you're kind of right there, like, because the meteor hit the Earth, which caused a disruption, blocking out the sun. But even then, it kind of took a while to kill them off. So, okay, you get partial credit, Mr. Freeze. Now remember, this was the 90s, the uprising of dinosaur fandom. We had the TV show Dinosaur, we had Jurassic Park, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had dinosaurs, and of course they altered the Super Mario Brothers movie from reptiles to dinosaurs, so yeah, I guess we had to squeeze some dinosaur into Batman. The movie, not into Batman. You get the idea. Mr. Freeze gets his hands on the diamond and escapes in a rocket. Once again, we have to be toyetic for our Lord and Commander, Kenner. If his plan is to use the rocket to land back onto Gotham and freeze everything, what's the point of capturing the diamonds and trying to make a laser cannon out of it? I mean, that's his ultimate plan, by the way. It's got the rocket. Like, it's there. His threat is there. He can hold Gotham hostage with the rocket itself. And he put on the goggles like in the cartoon. moon. And also it makes it easier on the toy makers to put the goggles on the figure, so that way they don't have to use Arnold Schwarzenegger's likeness. Let those suckers at Last Action Hero pay for his likeness. Butterfly wings, very toyetic. Robin saves Batman to thaw him out, which makes Batman bitch at him because you gotta have the movie. And we get the sequence. And Cowabunga and Surf's Up and... you know, it might have been cool as a kid to see this, but now I die a little on the inside. Just kind of like Escape from LA when we get the whole surf thing. Let it be known that you throw in a surfing sequence, it's gonna ruin your film.
Look there! A shark! What's that in his hand?
I like their wrist grappling hooks. I do. Very Spider-Man of them. And then Robin tries to stop Mr. Freeze because he's a little hothead. You gotta forgive Robin. He's a young hothead student. He is just trying to figure out life at the right age of 27. And Mr. Freeze takes the diamond and he escapes. I'm Batman. I don't have a need for guns. Anyway, here's my laser. Please, please, let there be an over-the-top, unnecessary, campy lightning bolt. Yes! And here's Dr. Pamela Isley talking about saving plants. Demi Moore, Sharon Stone, and Julia Roberts were considered for Poison Ivy, but Joel Schumacher chose Uma Thurman from her performance in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Whatever. This is Poison Ivy. They've changed her over the years. Basically, she's just a chemist that went on to do crime. It's nothing too out there. She debuted in Batman 181 in June of 1966. She was very fresh to the comics, so that's why the 1966 Batman series hadn't gotten to her. But I'm so glad we got Lola Lasagna. But yeah, in the comics, oh, here I go again. In the comics, Poison Ivy has evolved over the years, and now part of her powers, she's actually connected to the earth and connected to the greenery around her. But no time for that, because we have this bitchin' cameo from this guy.
And what a charmer he is.
That's right, it's John Glover. He was in everything for a while. He was in Gremlins 2. He was also in Scrooged. He even provided the voice of Riddler in the animated series. And then he would go on to play Lex Luthor's father, Lionel. And then, of course, he went on to be in Shazam as Dr. Sivana's dad. But it's John Glover! One of the most charismatic and humorous actors.
Ladies and gentlemen of the United Nations and our mystery bidder.
Not sure how he snuck all these guys in. I'm not even sure who the mystery caller is. This mystery caller, who is this person? Will we find out? I hope so.
May I present Antonio Diego. Concentric holes directly into Antonio's cranial cavity.
Okay, Mr. Schumacher, you gotta stop allowing your friends from the leather bar to be in your movies. I joke, of course. That guy is Bane. In this film, they gave him a name, but in the comics, Bane never really had a name. Let me go back to talk about Dr. Jason Woodrow for a second. Because not many people know about this, and I need to educate the world. In actuality, as far as comic books go, Dr. Jason Woodrow is a Batman villain himself, known as Floronic Man. He was a villain that was featured in that awful Batman and Harley Quinn movie. And it's kind of funny, though, because according to John Glover, he recalls what it was like on set. At this point, Schumacher was so defeated by the demands of Warner Brothers and Kenner, he would sit on his crane and shout, "Remember, everyone, this is a cartoon." But yeah, here we are with this guy here. here, Antonio, who is Bane. Bane is the third villain of the film. He debuted in Batman Vengeance of Bane, which his debut was January 1993. And he made a big impact because he kickstarted Nightfall. Nightfall, if you recall, is introduced. He comes to Gotham and he frees all the bad guys from Arkham, wearing out Batman and using that against him. So when Batman and Bane actually fought, it was easy for Bane to break Batman's back. Don't let the film fool you. In the comics, just like Dark Knight Rises, Bane is a very intelligent mastermind, as well as him being strong. That's funny, I just realized. Funny little connection, but Bane would be played by Tom Hardy, and often Bane needs a serum called Venom to make himself strong. Tom Hardy, while never using Venom in Dark Knight Rises, he does become Venom, so...
Welcome to my parlor.
Without your research, I could never have come this far.
I wonder with this conversation, what's going on downstairs with the people and Bane? You know, just waiting for the two of them to finish their conversation while Bane's acting up.
Oh, you corrupt my research into some maniacal scheme for world domination?
Uma, that line read. Well, according to Schumacher, it is a cartoon, so...
Sadly, I'm not good at rejection. I'm afraid you'll have to die.
Oh, you just hate to see that happen. Especially when a femme fatale is created by her boss when he murders her. Isn't that right, Batman Returns?
Dr. Victor Fries, two-time Olympic decathlete and Nobel Prize winner for molecular biology.
That is the most cleanest looking security footage I've ever seen. And you know, it's funny, in Batman Returns, Max Schreck actually has a picture of himself with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Or is it a picture of Max Schreck with Dr. Victor Fries? I like to think it's the same universe, so... I'm going to say it's Dr. Victor Fries, you know, in his younger, buff competition days.
After his wife contracted a rare disease, McGregor's syndrome, he hoped to freeze her in a cryogenic sleep until he could find a cure.
Really? McGregor's disease? You named the disease after one of the people behind this movie? I mean, the story of Mr. Freeze happens in different ways, but for this film, we're just gonna go ahead and copy the Joker's origin. Fall into a chemical vat. And it's very important that his laboratory had different angles for his security cameras.
Freeze needs extreme cold to survive. His cryosuit uses diamond-enhanced lasers to keep him at 0 degrees.
It doesn't have to be diamonds, he just wants to be fancy. Oh, we're seeing telltale signs of Alfred. No, actually, I'm gonna give it another good comment on this. Another good quality of this film is that we actually do give Michael Gough some more screen time. Something more to do. I mean, clearly he's sick, and the man still gives his best performance in this cartoon. I mean, to the untrained eye, you might think Alfred is just trying to feel up Batman's suit. But really, it's kind of his way of saying goodbye to an old friend because his time on Earth is not going to last long. Aw.
By Freeze tonight.
I'm fine. See? Me, here, alive. How are we supposed to work together if you won't trust me?
See, what I don't like about this, you know, Batman and Robin movie is that Robin, I've said this before about all Robins. I always feel like every Robin is a surrogate son of Batman. What I don't like is that in this movie, they're close in age. So it's just kind of like they're acting like they're brothers.
You must learn to trust him, for that is the nature of family.
I trust you, Alfred.
But I shan't be here forever.
That's what I'm talking about. This movie, if you remove all these silly aspects like, well, the superhero characters themselves, and you get scenes like this, it would be terrific. I mean, you do get these nice moments between Alfred and Bruce where they're actually talking about what family is. I actually do buy that George Clooney was raised by this Alfred. By the way, that young Bruce Wayne is from the Santa Claus movies.
Yes, sir. I am so pleased you won the bidding, your supreme ruthlessness.
Who is the mystery bidder that won? Was this a bad guy set up for the next movie? I hope so. I mean, it does seem like Schumacher tries to plan ahead that way, but at the same time, he does call this movie a cartoon, so it's really hard to tell. And this is Uma Thurman being Poison Ivy.
Animal plant toxins had a rather unique effect on me.
Pretending that she is a 1930s floozy harlot.
Come up and see me sometime.
Unique effect on me. They replaced my blood with aloe, my skin with chlorophyll.
Sciencey science stuff.
Filled my lips.
And now she's making him kiss her.
With venom.
Well, it's not the first time he's been violated by a woman.
Mr. Cummings. I'm poison.
Good, she's fully Poison Ivy. Now we can continue the movie. Let's have her team up with Bane.
Wayne Enterprises.
Using the same footage as earlier.
We've got a plane to catch.
She loves plants so much, that's why she's causing a fire. Who am I to judge on a villain's lair? Villains really gotta stop lighting up their lair, especially if it's supposed to be abandoned. The cops do catch on.
Sir, whatever I touch.
Well, at least Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins is having a good time.
What do you say we heat things up?
My passion, thoughts for my bride alone.
Ooh. Talk about your cold shoulder.
Oh, and we got Vivica A. Fox before she would work with Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, Volume 1.
The City Fathers will have no choice to give me the billions I need to complete my research, so I can find a cure.
So that's the plan. He's gonna use his ice technology to hold Gotham ransom so he can raise the money he needs for the cure. I mean, it makes sense. It's really expensive to see Robert Smith's concert. I mean, some of you younger people will have no clue what I'm talking about, and I don't care. Okay, see now this is what I'm talking about. Another good thing about this film is they took Paul Dini's writing of Heart of Ice from Batman the Animated Series, which won them a Daytime Emmy, and incorporated into this film.
It was kind of cool to see that they had interpreted those bits of our animated mythos into the live-action movie.
Well done, Schumacher, well done.
I must have dozed off. My sincerest apologies.
You're fired! And please don't tell anyone I'm Batman.
Please be looking for me.
Actually, I'm looking for Alfred Pennyworth.
Oh my gosh! It's the bad guy from Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Spoiler. Yeah, this is Alicia Silverstone. She was the only one considered for Batgirl. And that's because the movie Clueless. The sad thing is, she lost 10 pounds to be in this film, to fit into the costume, and they still body shamed her, which is so messed up. Because I do think Alicia Silverstone is a good actor. Can be a little crazy at times nowadays, but I think she's a good actor. My favorite Alicia Silverstone movie is Blast from the Past, which co-starred Brendan Fraser. So that's two actors that got screwed over by Batman-related movies.
Uncle Alfred!
Uncle! That's not how it is in a comics. Let's talk about Batgirl, okay? So Batgirl, this is an interesting one because she had existed for some time. There's kind of multiple times she's debuted. Batgirl debuted in Batman Comics 139, April of 1961. And Batgirl was originally Betty Kane, because she was supposed to be the love interest for Robin. You know, avoid that gay panic. Gay panic! Now, here's where it gets a bit interesting, because the Batgirl that we know, Barbara Gordon, she debuted in the comics in 1967, specifically Detective Comics 359, January 1967. So it depends on who's the writer for this girl, because sometimes she's Commissioner Gordon's daughter, sometimes she's Commissioner Gordon's niece. So I think the proper thing is she's Commissioner Gordon's niece that became his adopted daughter, which also explains why her name's Barbara, which is the same name as Commissioner Gordon's wife. It's a simple backstory. She just wanted to prove to Commissioner Gordon that she's just not some librarian. She can be daring, so she dressed up as a female version of Batman for a party. But then she came across Killer Moth, defeated him as Batgirl, and she decided to remain Batgirl. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Batgirl was introduced in the 1960s Batman series in 1967 in the 3rd season, played by Yvonne Craig.
As long as you're holding class as Penguin, perhaps you'd include Batgirl too.
Now, the story for this is interesting, but I'm going to play some more of the movie and I'll explain why. I'll explain more about the 1960s version of Batgirl later.
Barbara is the daughter of my dear sister Margaret.
Both my parents were killed in a car accident 5 years ago. Uncle Alfred's been supporting me ever since.
But the reason why they decided to make Batgirl Alfred's niece, well, sadly, they never really pictured Pat Hingle's Commissioner Gordon to be anyone's father. The producers thought, let's just kind of keep it more simple. So they decided in this film to make Alfred the uncle of Barbara, whose last name is not Gordon in this film. The producers just didn't think anything of Commissioner Gordon than just being a side character. Very short-sighted and lazy of them, I know. This is why executives should not have any say in a movie. But really, there's a whole deleted scene in this movie that explains that Alfred's not even Barbara's uncle.
Margaret Clark and I fell in love while I was visiting Metropolis. But when I realized that our age difference was so unfair to her...
Uncle Alfred came back to Gotham City.
Over the years, it just kind of felt like he was the uncle.
I'm on break from...
Oxbridge Academy, Alfred's alma mater.
How'd you know?
It says so on the patch on your sweater.
Hey, Bruce, how about not staring at her chest?
Barbara, I hope you'll stay with us.
And had they made Barbara related to Commissioner Gordon, they could ask her to live with them. I mean, they could, but it'd be awkward.
I'm trying to find my brother, your uncle, Wilfred. He's first butler to the Maharaja of Mirajanpur.
I really think this whole brother subplot is unnecessary to the film. I mean, I get why he's doing it because, he feels the end of his time is coming up and he needs to share secrets to keep the Batman legacy going, but I think it could be all written out.
I have the same picture of Mom by my bed. Peg?
My nickname for sweet Margaret.
Peg is short for Margaret, dingbats.
It's good to see you again. I've missed you.
As I have you.
So Alicia Silverstone read the script and decided my character is supposed to flirt with Alfred. She's not like the other girls. She's a rebel, just like every other character that comes across Batman's world. Oh my God, there's a giant coming out of the building! I'm sorry, that's one of Gotham's weird eccentric statues. All of Gotham's architects decided these buildings need to look like characters from Attack on Titan.
Is it true this new telescope can see all around the globe?
That is true, Gossip Gertie, played by Bob Kane's widow.
Just don't point it at my bedroom.
Because he has sex!
Brucey, you and the exquisite Julie Madison have been going out forever.
The Julie Madison, played by Elle Macpherson? Not many people know this, but this woman is supposed to be a bigger deal than this film lets on. She was actually Batman's first love interest. And then she kind of fizzled through the years.
Forget the stars. Look here at the Earth. And yet, you spoil her lands.
But no diesel fuel for heat, no coolants to preserve food. Millions of people would die.
They both have good points. It's a shame that they both sound insane.
Acceptable losses in the battle to save the planet.
People come first, Dr. Eisen.
It does kind of paint a funny picture that the people who actually are trying to save the planet are the villains in this film.
Batman's a fascist!
Cape Crusaders are going to help us auction off a prize diamond to raise money for Gotham Botanical Garden.
That's a good idea, Bruce. The woman who is insane talking about murder.
And there will be no one to protect you.
Invite her to the party. You can't stop me. I have this invitation. We have cake, we're gonna eat cake now. Okay, I'm sorry, my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression sounds like Goldar. You're gonna wear it now, remember you this way. Who is that man filming us? Look at how bright and colorful Gotham is. Batman has really cleaned up the city. Production designer Barbara Ling described this as the World's Fair on ecstasy. Here's the telltale sign that Batman and Robin was kind of slipping. Them showing up to public events as guests. Now we've really crossed into the Adam West Batman series.
Think Freeze will take the bait?
He'll be here.
You see, this is all orchestrated by Batman so he can lure Mr. Freeze to steal the diamonds. And what kind of event is this?
I'll give 10,000 for the orchid.
One where Batman auctions off women to horny old rich people. Our hero, folks.
$30,000 for the lovely Magnolia!
All right, settle down, guy that fired Norman Osborn. Everyone stop the show! It's a monkey dancing now. A hand. Whoo! And another one? Batman and Robin are so turned on by her. I mean, look at their nipples. Look at them.
Poison. Poison ivy.
Okay, alright, that doesn't sound sexy. It sounds like a venereal disease. Look at this crowd. A certain senator is there. Patrick Leahy. Patrick Leahy. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's spelled like Leah, but there's a Y, so Leahy. Patrick Leahy. He is known for being a huge Batman fan. He appeared in this movie and others. But I just don't think it's a good idea for a U.S. senator to, appear at an auction for women.
Why not send Junior home early? On the other hand, youth does have its advantages.
You both are the same age.
$2 million.
You don't have it. $3 million.
I'll borrow it from you. $4 million.
What is that logic? I'll borrow it from you. Would that actually work? Like, say Batman just gave up and Robin won this date. Was Batman gonna lend him the money?
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. $6 million.
$7 million.
There's not much I can say to this. It's stupid. It's dumb. Who the hell gave Batman a credit card without knowing his finances? They have to know he's Bruce Wayne, but it's still stupid nonetheless. I think that's all I can say to it. I can't add more to it because it's a credit card that destroyed the whole entire Batman franchise. I mean, it's to the point that it's been beaten to death. Thank you, Nostalgia Critic. Good through forever because Batman Forever was a movie. It took like a year to develop all this ice. Job well done. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, this is an auction where old men are trying to buy women, so I really don't care who lives or who dies at this party. Yeah, cartoon sound effects.
Commissioner, you have 11 minutes to thaw these people.
Commissioner, you have 11 minutes to thaw these people. We're not going to give you the technology, so, good luck. And thanks for your help, Bane.
Pull back, you can't make the jump.
I can make it!
I do like this chase. I mean, yes, it's stupid what Batman does by turning off the engine to Robin's motorcycle, and that could have actually killed Robin, but, well, I like this shot. It's a cool shot of Robin. We get to see him actually feeling the effects of his resentment towards Batman. Batman crashes through Mr. Freeze's window and poses for the camera.
It's your house, it's your rules. I mean, it's your way or the highway. It's Batman and Robin, not Robin and Batman.
I mean, it is his money, it is his home. He's the one that came up with the vigilante concept. So, quit being a little bitch. You can tell from these arguments that Robin is one step away from becoming Nightwing. I mean, it's a stupid reason because of Poison Ivy, but we know that Schumacher had this planned out.
Death
and chance stole your parents. But rather than become a victim, you have done everything in your power to control the fates.
You had the potential to be something great, especially when you give this kind of dialogue to certain actors. The whole film could have been great, but no. Warner Brothers and Kenner had to step in and make everything toyetic. Oh my God, who are these ghosts and whose grave is that?
But I can't, can I?
None of us can.
Well, this is very heartwarming. Anyways, here's a toy commercial.
Who defends this city?
Batman and Robin.
The Bat is the baddest, coolest, frees criminals in their tracks. Batman. The legend, the Dark Knight. The Bat unleashes an ambush attack.
Evil is come to dust.
I am Batman.
Kids in toy commercials are little sadistic bastards. Arkham does look cool. And the funny thing is, in this scene, it only called for one guard, but Jesse the Body Ventura showed up on set, and Arnold, being his friend, insisted on putting him in the film. I like how they try to make Arnold Schwarzenegger look weak without the suit the only way they can, by just making him wear an oversized prison outfit. I will say I'm impressed with the makeup work on Arnold's eyes in this scene. And here's Bane and Poison Ivy. Bane is reduced to her henchman. By the way, Bane is actually played by wrestler Jeep Swenson, who sadly died 2 months after this film was released. I'm not here to depress you. It's important that we find out how Poison Ivy finds her lair by making Bane attack some neon-covered gangsters and stealing their bathhouse. Yep, the villain's lair is a bathhouse. You're not even trying to hide it anymore, are you, Schumacher?
There are things about me that you wouldn't understand.
I know you've had your wild night.
Wild doesn't quite cover it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even know why he bothers dating. I mean, he has to give the same speech to every girl he's dated. Vicky Vale, Selena Kyle, Chase Meridian.
You just called me Ivy. Who's Ivy?
See, it's this kind of reckless relationship is why she ended up moving in with Joey Tribbiani, but ended up being a jerk to his friends, and she moved right out. Alright, we get to see these wild people. Let's watch. Okay, I guess they're all characters from Amadeus. Oh, and cool, we even got the Clockwork Orange gang. And friggin' A, Joel Schumacher, you did it again. You had to pull someone from Lost Boys and put him into this movie, Corey Haim. Hi, Corey Haim. And Coolio. Dangerous Minds came out and the song Gangster's Paradise was big, so we instantly fell in love with Coolio. Although supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but supposedly Joel Schumacher was eyeing Coolio for the next film. He wanted Coolio to apparently be, allegedly, Scarecrow. So I don't know if Coolio is supposed to be at this point Dr. Jonathan Crane, or he's playing a whole different character. I have a hard time believing that he would end up being Scarecrow, but then again, I could also see it being like a mandate from Warner Brothers to make him a character in a Batman film, so... But let's skip right to the race. They race, they go through all these tracks. A lot of them are cheating, which should make them disqualified from this illegal race. But Dick Grayson intercepts the race, and it ends with both Dick Grayson and Barbara hanging over the edge.
So this is where you hang out.
And then we get to this scene.
I'm gonna take him away from this dismal life of servitude. This whole master-servant thing, it's really ridiculous.
Meanwhile, Alfred's brother is also a butler. They discussed that earlier. She has no problem with him serving someone. Very reminiscent of the cartoon. Well done, movie. Well done. And here's Poison Ivy showing up dressed the same way as they would have in the Batman 60s show. I recognize those outfits. Riddler and Two-Face. Cool Easter egg. So Poison Ivy uses Mr. Freeze as part of her plan to pair themselves off to take over Gotham, and Bane brings Mr. Freeze's suit. I guess it's kind of like Nightfall with Bane breaking criminals out of Arkham. They could have gone further with that.
You ever regretted your life working here?
Looking after heroes? No, sir. My only regret is that I was never able to be out there with you.
Not all heroes wear masks.
See, these are really good actors who unfortunately were placed in a bad movie that had potential to be a good film, but was ultimately ruined by marketing, by Warner Brothers, by Taco Bell, by Kenner.
Well, I'm totally over, all right? Positively.
Me too, definitely. Great stems, though.
Buds, too.
Yeah, those are nice.
Stop it. See, this is the problem. George Clooney is a great actor, but he only plays the charming George Clooney type of roles. Hell, even in Roseanne, he was charming. He can't be that for Batman. He made an okay Bruce Wayne in the same sense that Batman has to put on a facade for the public. He's just too nice to be Batman. So the abridged version of this scene is that Batman and Robin discover that Nora Freeze is still alive, barely, and Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, and Bane can't get to the diamonds, nor can they get to Nora. Poison Ivy is doing the typical love potion thing, and the air being tainted by Mr. Freeze. It's affecting Commissioner Gordon. Oh, I should also point out the fact that not once in this movie did Chris O'Donnell actually work with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were usually stand-ins. Well, okay, catwalk fight, just like in Dark Knight Rises. This would be a perfect opportunity for Bane to break Batman's back, just like in the comics.
Why are all the gorgeous ones homicidal maniacs? Is it me?
It's going to be a bit of a controversial observation of mine, but not many people talk about it. This kind of witty banter that Batman has here, even though, yeah, he's not a good Batman, somehow I can actually picture Michael Keaton saying that.
Eat floor. High fiber.
We get to see Pat Hingle doing the most action-y thing he's ever done in all four of these movies. We have this little cat fight on a catwalk.
Stop! Don't kiss her.
You just couldn't stand it. She was gonna kiss me and not you.
And now he's gonna become the Joker. I mean, I really don't know what that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a frozen foods factory, so I don't know what that green crap is.
What happened? How'd they get away?
The same way you let Mr. Freeze get away, asshole.
I've never been good with competition. Who needs a frigid wife anyway?
You can't kill your friend's wife. That's illegal.
Batman deactivated her. She's dead.
You lie!
Not sure how showing him his wife's necklace proves that she's telling the truth. In fact, it makes her look like the one who did it.
Adam and evil.
Yes.
Now I prepare to freeze Gotham.
You know you got a serious scriptwriter when the villains refer to themselves as evil.
It's stage 1 of McGregor syndrome.
Damn it, you and McGregor.
And she's clouded your mind and you're not thinking straight.
Oh, but I am. I want a Robin signal in the sky, all right?
Folks, I'm sorry. Will you just please step away for a second? This is a conversation between me and Robin. Please, thank you. So listen, Robin, the thing is, I said, will you step away? I'm trying to talk to Robin. Jeez. Anyway, Robin, hi. I know you've been wanting your own Robin mobile, and you want your signal in the sky. You want your own everything. You want it to be treated equally, without actually putting any time or effort or money into anything. But You demand the same treatment. Well, you know, Robin, you. Okay, now you can ask the other people to come back. So Alfred is on his deathbed and he is making his niece deliver information to her other uncle.
Only family can be trusted? Well, I'm family.
And here is Barbara trying to infiltrate Alfred's secret. Yeah, we get another nice touching scene between Bruce Wayne and Alfred. We know this.
I love you, old man.
And I love you too.
But it's nice to hear Batman say he loves someone. Okay, now check this out while she's trying to figure out the password. She sees a picture of her mother, Margaret. Notice the picture. That doesn't work. But now look at the picture again. This time it says Love Peg. Now Barbara did say that she had a picture just like that one, but was surprised when Alfred's picture says Love Peg, so it's probably his picture. But it's just bad editing because she's looking in the same direction, you see. So it just looks like bad continuity rather than a flashback.
Peg.
The password must be bonbons and Oprah. That's a little Married with Children reference.
Access allowed.
Why did you have to say it so seductively? That is not... I keep spitting, I'm sorry. That is not how reflections work. If you really want it to be cinematic, Schumacher, let the glasses work as the reflection, not the whole entire face. You dum-dum. May you rest your soul. So Poison Ivy has somehow put up Robin's emblem in the sky. You know, if she just used the letter R, it would have been much simpler.
She's infected us with some sort of pheromone extract.
Oh, is that what it is, Bruce? I'm under some kind of magic spell?
She wants to kill you, Dick.
Well, excuse me. Don't use my name against me in that tone.
So I'm asking you, friend, partner, brother.
Brother! See, this is why I hate that they're so close in age. The writers came up with this so they can actually make what I think is plenty of porno spoofs.
All the crystals are in place.
Thank you.
Thank you to featured scientists who usually show up in Schumacher films. They were actually in the last movie as well.
Who is this nutball?
Seriously? You know, Batman, you know all these people, you don't know who Mr. Freeze is. Up, classic Bane, loving his bombs. Yes, I'm sorry. I did kind of take that joke from Red Letter Media. It's such a good joke. I thought of the same thing as they did.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
Oh no, he's starting up the telescope to use as a laser cannon to freeze the world. We'll find out more after this commercial break.
All right, everyone, chill.
Woo! I got the Eggo.
So that boy doesn't care his family died, just as long as he got the Eggo.
Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
Barbara made her way into the Batcave, and here is where we go on with Fun Fact. So I mentioned earlier about the origins of Batgirl being involved in the 1960s Batman show. It's interesting that in this movie, Alfred and Batgirl are kind of secretly working together to make her a hero. That's kind of what happened in the 60s TV show. And it was a silly episode too. It was in season 3. It was the first episode. The whole plot was the Penguin trying to kidnap the commissioner's daughter and force her to marry him because Penguin thinks by marrying the commissioner's daughter, he can't ever be put in jail. So In the episode, Barbara Gordon gets kidnapped by the Penguin, and by happenstance, Alfred is in the wrong place at the wrong time. He gets kidnapped as well. While Barbara and Alfred are kidnapped, Barbara tries to sneak out, and she puts on a Batgirl outfit. But she makes Alfred promise not to tell anyone.
Well, really, Batgirl,
No, Alfred, you must swear. If you reveal my identity to anyone, I'll be of no further use as a crime fighter.
No loyalty to Batman, apparently. Alfred keeps that promise, doesn't tell Batman and Robin that Barbara is Batgirl, nor does he tell Barbara that Bruce and Dick are Batman and Robin. So throughout the series, while Batman and Robin are about to face the bad guys, Alfred helps Barbara out by giving her gadgets and everything she needs. Interestingly enough, Yvonne Craig actually had good things to say about Alicia Silverstone's performance as Batgirl.
Alicia Silverstone, and I had seen her in Clueless and liked her enough to see Clueless twice, so I just thought, wow, that's really good.
So yeah, that's a weird little Batgirl-Alfred relationship factoid.
And took the liberty to create something in your size.
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
And how did Alfred get his niece's measurements? Alright, listen, the sun is rising, so I'm going to try to power through this. Robin meets up with Poison Ivy. She tries to seduce him, and then she kisses him. Kissing that poor, young, innocent Robin. That young man is only 32.
Rubber lips are immune to your charms.
Oh, ho, ho. Now that's a Mormon's idea of safe sex. She broke the glass ceiling. She broke the glass ceiling.
You're about to become compost.
It's very lispy, like Drew Barrymore talk.
Curses!
Why is the plant now turning on her?
Bruce, it's me, Barbara. I found the Batcave.
The city is in danger, but that doesn't stop Batman, Robin, and Batgirl from changing their outfits. I mean, Batgirl just got her outfit and she's already had to change. And Batgirl is wearing the mask. But Alicia Silverstone bitched about her hair, so that mask is removed in the next scene. But don't worry, we get to see the same outfit being re-tailored for Birds of Prey. And she didn't complain about wearing those bat ears one bit. Definitely thaw those two because they're going to be taking up some screen time.
I got you!
No, I got you.
That's adorable. I always felt like Batgirl and Dick Grayson Robin actually made for a good couple. Or Batgirl and Nightwing. I always felt like they were a cute couple. It does get murky because Nightwing ends up with Starfire. Sometimes in the comics and even in the animated series, they really did try to push for Batgirl and Batman to have a relationship. Like all the time, and I find it wrong because in the same way as Robin is kind of like Batman's surrogate son, I feel like Barbara in a way is kind of like Batman's surrogate daughter-in-law. At least, like the time that Batman knocked up Batgirl. It's really messed up. Even the 60s Batman show introduced Barbara as a potential love interest for Batman because Commissioner Gordon was really pushing Barbara onto Bruce. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You never realize how long a movie is until you actually have to review it. So here's the big Bane showdown, and it's against Robin and Batgirl. Okay, well that's easy. Mr. Freeze blows up the telescope, Batman saves the scientists, leaves them on the ground, and now Batman, Robin, and Batgirl has to thaw the city without the telescope.
We're gonna have to do this upside down.
Men. Everything the hard way.
But blah blah blah, Batgirl is superior to Robin. They find a way to thaw the city using the satellites.
As I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show.
Oh, and Batman just showed Mr. Freeze the movie. When did anyone record this? In the middle of the fight, someone pulled out a camera and recorded the conversation?
But she's not dead. We found her, restored her. She's still frozen, alive.
See, and this is a nice scene too, because
vengeance isn't power. Anyone can take a life, but to give life, that's true power, a power you once had.
Batman is giving Mr. Freeze his own redemption, a chance to save someone else's life.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
He carries stage 1 cures with him all the time.
Loves me.
Not.
He really stood there and waited for his cue to jump in at a right moment. Why would they give Mr. Freeze his suit instead of, just keeping him cold in a cold room like they did previously? Why would they allow Mr. Freeze to share the cell with Poison Ivy? Maybe this is our way of learning that Poison Ivy dies in Arkham, because otherwise no villain actually dies in this movie.
Winter has come at last.
Oh, you silly movie. So Alfred lives, Bruce and Dick have patched things up, and they all unite to work together.
The B-Sharps!
And the movie ends the same way the last one did. Them running away from their responsibilities by running away from the bat signal. And that was Batman and Robin, finishing off the Batman anthology. Started with Tim Burton, ending with Joel Schumacher, ending with a whimper. And to think, Arnold Schwarzenegger actually turned down a sequel to Conan the Barbarian for this. That's okay. That Conan the Barbarian sequel script got turned into Kull the Conqueror. Thanks a lot. The movie had a budget of roughly $125 to $160 million. And it did earn $238 million worldwide. It's just they made that much money because the film was actually pretty popular in Asian countries like Japan.
Future Anthonix here. Same time of Batman and Robin, there was supposed to be a tie-in film called Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. It was supposed to be a sequel to Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This was to promote the new Batman and Robin film. Unfortunately, reception of the film was so bad, it made Warner Brothers push this straight-to-video movie back a year.
And the film did so bad, it canceled the sequel that Schumacher had planned, known as Batman Unchained, or Batman Triumphant, depending on where you get your source from. In that sequel, Schumacher had planned on going back to making it more dark again. He wanted to use Scarecrow. In that film, it would have been Batman getting hit with a fear toxin, where he would start seeing illusions of his past enemies, including Jack Nicholson as the Joker. But that idea did get used in Arkham Knight. And it would have also introduced Harley Quinn, which is why I brought up Harley Quinn and Arlene Sorkin. In that iteration, Harley Quinn would have actually been Joker's daughter out for revenge. I'm glad they didn't go with that. Kevin Conroy and Arlene Sorkin. Mwah. Now we need to protect Mark Hamill at all costs. We might have heard some crickets last night, but we are ending this video with birds chirping. I'll see you next time, same Bat channel. If Batman and Robin can get a new Batmobile, so can I. Hey guys, I'm Batman!
Gotta get those locks changed.
She knows who we are.
Guess we'll just have to kill her.
Yep, we'll kill her later. We have work to do.